As the movie begins, we see that it is Halloween. Here we see a man running away who was quite frightened and followed by a jester. This clown entertains people by showing his magic, and if someone doesn't like his magic, he kills him with it. Everywhere this man was seen was his daughter Emma. This man left his first wife and her daughter was Emma. He calls his daughter Emma and says, "Son, forgive me, I made a mistake." Emma hangs up the phone in anger. Now the clown comes in front of her and tells her that now your death is certain, to which she says that I apologize to her but she doesn't want to forgive me. The clown shows off his magic tricks by putting a noose around his neck when he pulls on his tie, and the noose gets stuck around the man's neck, killing him. We also find out here that this man had another marriage with whom he also had a daughter named Jocelyn. The next day when everyone gathers at the cemetery, we also see Amma and her half-sister Jocelyn. Amma doesn't call her at all, she doesn't like her at all. A mom calls her mom and says, "Mom, what happened to dad is good, he died and we got justice," but Jocelyn was very sad because she loved her dad so much.
Everyone had left but Amma was still busy on a call with her mom. She suddenly saw a clown dancing near her dad's coffin. It was actually the jester. Then he suddenly disappears from there. Actually he was hiding behind a tree. Mom goes away from there. Two security guards come there. They ask him to leave the cemetery, but he starts playing with them. Sometimes he appears in front of them and sometimes he disappears. A security guard calls the police and the clown kills another. And all this he does with his magic tricks. Now the clown performs another magic trick here. He pulls a solid apple out of the man's throat, and the man dies right there, much to Joker's delight. The jester now sets off in search of new victims to try his other tricks on. On the other hand, we see Emma and Jocelyn who are sitting in a cafe talking in a good mood when suddenly Jocelyn mentions her dad's name, which makes Emma very angry and she leaves. Just as Jocelyn is about to leave the cafe, a man stops her and tells her that, "I know your dad. He was not a good person at all," which makes Jocelyn very sad. As Amma is on her way back home, a jester comes her way. He places cards in front of her and tells her to pick one card, but Amma leaves angrily. Two children approach the jester and ask him for candies. He puts his basket of candies in front of them. His older brother picks up more candies from him and the younger one picks up only one candy. Jester likes this little kid's habit very much. He starts giving him candies with his magic tricks, while elder brother also comes to him. He says, "Give me candies too," which angers the jester. Jester now starts taking out candies from his bag and putting them in the bag of the younger one, which now also angers the elder brother. Gets out of her bag and grabs her hand, which scares both the children and they both run away.
Jocelyn is watching the horror movie in her house when suddenly she sees someone's shadow in her window. She opens the door and sees that her friends were there. She calls them all inside.
On the other hand, we see that the jester was still following Amma. As she enters a store, he is in front of her. Now he again places the card in front of him and asks him to choose a cut. Amma was getting very angry at his actions. Then Jester gets serious with him and reminds Amma that this is the same crazy clown who was dancing on my dad's grave. As the jester moves towards Amma, she pushes him, causing the glass bottle to fall from the jester's hand and the glass vials to scatter on the ground. He sits down and picks up a glass. Amma gets scared and thinks it will attack me, but he cuts his own throat with it and all the blood from his throat falls on Amma's face.
And he falls on the ground. Then suddenly he stands back doing stunts. Emma gets scared and runs away from there. She runs into a shop where the shopkeeper sees her condition and calls the police. Two police officers arrive there and ask Emma about her condition, to which Emma tells them
what happened to her, but the
police officers started laughing after hearing her words. They thought that this girl was joking. Now the jester enters the shop himself. He shows them a magic trick. He binds both his hands with a handcuff. Now, in one stretch, that handiwork disappears from his hand and goes into the hands of these two policemen. Now the jester takes off his cap and places it on the head of a policeman, and as soon as he lifts his cap, his head disappears. Now that policeman shouts a lot. Seeing all this, the owner of the shop runs away. Now the other officer unties the handcuffs, pulls out his gun and starts shooting at him. But these bullets hit his friend the police officer, killing him on the spot. Now the police officer shoots the jester again. But those bullets don't hit him. Instead he holds the bullets in his hand. Seeing all this, Amma runs away in fear. The jester now kills the remaining officer and leaves. On the other hand, Jocelyn feels that my father is still with me. As she goes to his picture, his dad comes out of the picture and sits in front of her, which Jocelyn is scared to see. Jocelyn says to her friend, let's go to the festival, but even in the fair, he could see his father everywhere. Now when she sees her father again, she starts chasing him. Now Jester comes there and sits on Jocelyn's seat. As he picks up the glass, teeth pop out from under it. It belongs to none other than the boy sitting in front of her, Jocelyn's friend. He starts crying in pain. Now he picked up another glass, nothing came out from under it. As it hit the back of the glass, two eyes popped out, which belonged to none other. Now the boy was in bad condition with pain, he starts screaming loud. People there get scared seeing him and start running away from there. With his mouth covered in blood, he goes and falls on top of his friend. His two friends pick him up and carry him aside. Jocelyn is so lost in her father's thoughts that one of her friends approaches her, but Jester comes up from behind and breaks her leg with his cane. A friend of his who checks out loud. Jester motioned for him to shut up, but his voice stopped. His breath started to stop. Now Jocelyn also regains consciousness. She comes to Jester and says, stop this bloodshed, I will do as you say. Amma on the other hand was still running away from the Jester. She gets a call from her mom, and as she is talking to them on the phone, Jester walks in front of her. She looks at the Jester. He was making the same noises as he was signaling to her, meaning it was also one of his magic tricks. Jester talks to her on the phone and says that you should leave here, your life will be saved, but while talking, he also mentions Jocelyn's name. That his life is in danger. Emin gets Jocelyn's tension because she wants her stepsister to be right, but she is her sister. Now she looks ahead to the same bridge where her dad died. But her dates were standing there. She goes to them and apologizes to them. But his dad tells him that you were very happy about my death. And she says, Dad, I forgive you sincerely. But her father pulls a rope noose from around her neck and puts it around her neck, sending her back to a time where she sees Jocelyn as a much younger child. She tells the little girl, Jocelyn, to Emma, get out of our lives, you're no good at all. Emma thought it was all a joker's, and it's all a sham. And now that little girl Jocelyn moves into a house with her dad. Emma also follows him inside the house. She sees her dad playing with Jocelyn, but Emma was abandoned by her father in her childhood. Now her father comes to her and takes a knife and hits him in his own chest, which makes Mama very scared and breaks down inside. Then her father tells her, why are you hurting now? You were so happy with my funeral. Actually Jester wanted to break her completely inside. Now we also see Jocelyn here who is grown up. She comes to him. She tells him a lot of things again, that you are not good at all, you are very bad. Jocelyn takes out the choker from her dad's chest and gives it to Emma and says you should kill yourself, but Emma says I know you're not real, you're a fake. She kills Jocelyn with the choker. As soon as she kills him she goes to the real world. She actually kills Jocelyn, which makes the Jester very happy. Emma starts crying loudly, to which Jocelyn tells her, I know you didn't do all this knowingly, you were asleep. Emma gets so angry that she repeatedly stabs the Jester in the chest with the same hammer, but it has no effect. She also tells him that do what you want with me but leave my sister. Now the Jester leaves without saying anything. We see a few days later when Amma goes to meet her dad at his grave. She talks to them a lot to lighten her heart. We see Jester standing next to her. I.e. Jester is still with Emma. He tries to control Emma again here but he fails, so he leaves. Now Amma is back at the cafe where her sister was waiting for her with her friends, meaning she saved her sister. Now she lives her life happily. And the movie ends here. If you like our explanation, please like and subscribe to our channel.